SEBI Grade A 2024 Phase 2 exam is going to be held on the 31st of August 2024, which means you have 20 days now to prepare for this particular exam. In this video, I'm going to discuss in detail about how you should spend these 20 days, what are the most important and expected topics that you should be focusing on for your preparation for Phase 2. Hello everyone, welcome to iExamB. Prepare 50% faster by embracing the iExamB learning experience. And in this video, as I stated, I will discuss about which topics to focus on and how you can prepare 50% faster. Yesterday, the information handout for SEBI came out, in which they have now clarified that there will be 100 questions for paper 2, which relates to the general stream. All of these will be MCQ, that is objective based, and 100 marks. That means each question will be of 1 marks each. Right? This is something which we had been stating when, the time limit of 20 minutes was stated in the original notification. And we are so glad to see that, yes, it is going to be 100 questions. What it means for you, what you should be doing is what you can expect for discussion in this particular video. So let's move ahead. And I will also talk about the descriptive English, where 3 questions, 1 essay, Prachi and comprehension, reading comprehension will be asked. So let's discuss. This is the syllabus for paper 2, which remains common for both phase 1 and phase 2. You have already studied this for your phase 1 exam. Commerce and accountancy, management, finance, costing, Companies Act and economics. So you have already studied these points in detail. You may have left certain topics. You may not have left any of the topics, but you have to again go through these. But the strategy is what will be different. So before we understand what can be the expected topics and what you should be concentrating on, let's have a quick look at what the trend has been. So the trend has been, if you can see in the past, commerce and accountancy has had a good weightage in 2022. In 2024, we saw only 6 questions come from here. In the phase 1, right? So phase 2 is what we are preparing for. In management, a good number of 8 to 9 questions have come in the past. Finance also has had a good weightage. If we see in phase 1 or every year, finance has had a higher weightage of questions, and in phase 2 relatively less. In costing, again, an average coverage of 8 to 9 questions has been seen in the past. And in Companies Act, again, a very good weightage of 8 to 9 questions has been there. In phase 1 this time, they gave more weightage and asked 11 questions from Companies Act. And in economics, again, similar to finance, the trend has been asked in phase 2, unlike in finance, where they have asked more in phase 1, right? So this is what has been. And for the numericals also, the trend we've seen is in phase 2, they ask more numericals as compared to phase 1. So based on this analysis, plus our own experience of guiding for this exam and how the trend has been, we can expect what number of questions, right? So this is my expectation. There will be a higher number of questions being asked. So one thing important to notice, till now there were 50 questions. This time in phase 2, there are going to be 100 questions. The rationale most likely for this is it gives more scope to SEBI to ask questions from a particular topic. So you can, as you know, the syllabus is very big. There are 6 subjects, but with 50 questions, the capacity to ask questions from a subject reduces, because you cannot ask more than 9-10 questions, as you can see, from a particular subject, which itself has so many topics. Now, with increase in number of questions, the possibility of asking questions, more conceptual questions, increases. So it's not necessary that phase 2 is going to be very difficult. There will be some direct questions, there will be some indirect questions, but it definitely increases the base of asking questions from a particular topic and subject, right? So my expectation is that from commerce and accountancy, we have seen very less questions being asked in phase 1 this time, and there will be a higher number of questions of approximately 19 questions being asked in phase 2. In management, we will see an average of 15 questions being asked. In finance, I expect 16 questions to be asked. In costing, a higher number of 18 questions to be asked. And in companies and economics, around 15 to 16 questions to be asked here. Numericals, I'm expecting 16 numericals, so approximately a little less than 20%. Usually anywhere between 15 to 20% weightage comes from the numericals, so I am expecting a 16% weightage this time, of which I expect around 7 to 8 questions from accounts, almost 4 to 5 questions from costing, and remaining few questions, 2 to 3 questions we can expect to come from finance or economics topics, right? So this is my expectation, based on which I will guide you through which topics to prepare and which not to prepare. I had done a similar analysis in 2022 and had come very close to the expected pattern of the exam, and that is my purpose this year also. As I stated, we had been talking about 100 questions, not just after the information handout came out, but from day one when the notification for 2024 came out. Our mock tests are already live with 100 questions, as you can see, and the first mock test is freely available on our website if you want to attempt it. Right, so let's move ahead, and before I do that, let me also tell you about the phase 2 course that we have available for 2024 general stream, for which you can enroll. Of course, it has all the content related to the contents of both paper 1 and paper 2, including video lessons, PDFs, revision notes, MCQ booklets, and additional 5 mock tests for descriptive English, 5 mock tests for paper 2 based on the pattern of 100 questions each, right? So as you can see, as I was telling you, you will get for both phase 1, paper 1 and paper 2 for phase 2, descriptive English 5 mock tests. In the past, whatever the mock tests, whatever the exams paper has been, you'll also find sample answers to those memory based paper. Similarly, for phase to paper 2, as I showed you over here, our tests are already live. You will get 5 and mock test with 100 questions each, from level of moderate to difficulty to practice for the phase 2 level. We have already started our classes. We are also doing regular classes for important topics and practice related to each of the subjects: management, finance, costing, economics, accounts, Companies Act, and we will continue these classes till the 27th of August. So coming back to the important topics, let's go subject wise. Commerce and accountancy, I expect 19 questions to come in phase 2 from commerce and accountancy. The topics that have already been covered include ratio, Indian accounting standard 36 had come, which is a little related to fixed assets, not entirely, not directly. Then there was a simple conceptual question related to consolidated accounts. There was basic accounting related concepts, cash flow and fund flow question that had come. They have left a large chunk of the syllabus to be asked, right? And that's what you should be focusing on. Balance sheet items, when we talk about the last topic, that is preparation of financial accounts. So both the conceptual terms of those and how they are presented will be important for your phase 2. I'll continue to say accounting concepts because now the width increases, the capacity to ask questions increases. I expect at least 2 questions to come related to the accounting basic concepts, right? Like your prudence concept, okay, your matching concept. So those are the accounting terms or concepts is what I am talking about. Indian accounting standards will be asked a little more in detail. I expect more focus to be on depreciation, inventory and investment to be there. And there were no questions being asked on share transactions. I do expect questions from share transactions, specifically from bonus, ESOPs and buyback. When we talk about the numericals item, I did say I am expecting 7 to 8 numericals to come from the accounts. Isme majorly can come from the ratios. Nothing was asked. There was a very one simple quick ratio question in phase 1, but I'm expecting more questions to come on ratios in phase 2. Some question on share transaction, not necessarily, when I'm saying numericals on share transaction, not really necessary each and every amount. It could be simple as a part of ratios also, like, calculating EPS, diluted EPS. So that kind of concept related to share transaction, or maybe they give you the number and ask how much buyback is possible. So if you know the concept, 25% is allowed, or how much is allowed, then based on that, there could be simple questions. Then accounting standard, inventory and revenue, again based on the concept, like inventory, FIFO method related, or on revenue, which how will you book the revenue. So the concept is being used in the form of numerical. So some question may come on that aspect over here. There's one more aspect that you can talk about in is cash flow, right? Cash flow numerical, where you're calculating simply what would be the operating cash flow based on the information giving. So these are some topics for numerical that I will recommend to practice. Let's move on to management. I expect around 15 questions to be covered. Management basics, including management functions, managerial roles was asked. Leadership, few questions were asked. HRD, human resource development, and a simple question on communications was asked. They have touched on some of all of these topics, so they are likely to continue to touch on these topics in phase 2 also. One topic that they missed and are likely to ask in phase 2 is related to motivation theories. I do not expect too much depth into motivation theories, but the most classical theories, like your two-factor model, your Maslow's model, right? These will definitely be important. Your theory X, Z also, in addition to theory X and Y. So these become important. So do definitely go through the motivation theories. Apart from that, these topics will again be asked. Functions and roles, as I said, as a part of the management basics. Managerial roles will continue to be important. Communication, they had asked a very simple, straightforward question on barriers. More questions can be expected based on the different types, even networks of communication that are used in a company, right? So those are also there. Various HRD related terms, job enrichment, okay, job analysis, like this can also be asked, and leadership styles will again continue to be an important topic. Of course, there are no numericals from this particular topic. Moving to finance, 16 questions. The very important topics that I expect to continue is derivatives, one of the most important topics. Please do pay attention to these. Different kind of financial instruments. This time they have paid more attention to the money market in phase 1. Now I expect them to focus more on the capital market instruments in phase 2. Questions from AIF, alternate investment funds, both related to rules and regulations or conceptual questions. Mutual funds is something very important. Even basic tax terms, we have seen there have been changes in the capital gains taxes in this year's budget. So some terminology related to them, like what is STT, like what is stamp duty, okay, like what is long term capital gain, right? Capital gain, what is short term capital gain, right? Those can be asked. So my suggestion will be to at least have a basic understanding of these terms. Numericals, yes, there can be some numericals in terms of derivative of forex topic, not too difficult, maybe related to maintenance margin, initial margin kind of discussions when it comes to derivatives, or in case of derivatives, like if future and forex options prices are given to you and spot prices are given to you, then to calculate whether it will be a profitable position or not. So these kind of simple numericals can be expected in phase 2 from the finance. Moving to costing, this will again be important. 18 questions is what I expect. Types of various terms related to cost. Job and batch costing to be the most important, but other methods also will be there. Contract costing, post-process costing, at least the terms you should be aware about. Marginal costing will continue to be one of the most important, and then budgetary control related terminologies. It will be a good subject to prepare from numericals. Calculation of prime cost or other related cost when we are talking about a cost sheet. So items of cost sheet, Both calculation wise and conceptual wise will be important. Break even and PV ratio will continue to be important, and we can expect some numericals. We did not see any numericals come in phase 1. Even EOQ, okay, economic order quantity, right? This numerical, please at least look through how they are calculated. The formula you should be aware about. Variance, although low probability, right? This comes under standard costing. There is low probability, but one or two direct material and sales related variance I will suggest you to practice. There is low probability still for this particular topic, in my opinion. Moving to Companies Act, 15 to 16 questions I expect. They did a very good coverage in phase 1. In phase 2 also I expect similar coverage to be done related to topics like auditors, prospectus, shares and debentures. They may go into more details into shares and debentures this time with relation to issuing at premium, ESOPs related, and differences between debentures, different types of debentures and rules related to it. Dividend will continue to be important. Some or the other timeline related to dividend will be asked again. And board meetings and the various committees related question will be important over here. NCLT, please go through, revise, but I expect less questions in phase 2 now from NCLT topic. Economics, last 16 questions I expect. They did a good coverage again, but they did not touch upon the macroeconomic and the Indian economy topics, which they are likely to do now. Budget and economic survey in that aspect will be important. BOP and forex reserves coming from the economic survey itself, both conceptual and what all goes into it. So what all is considered into forex reserves? Where are we? What is RBI saying? We recently got the latest monetary policy also, right? So be aware about the monetary policy and all the terms related to the monetary policy in terms of reserve ratios, policy rates, and the decisions taken by RBI to control inflation and talk about growth, right? Demand and supply, yes, few conceptual questions are likely to continue to come. In ISLM, rather this, I will also ask you to prepare monetary aggregates. There was no question. Usually a monetary aggregate question is asked. So in phase 2, I expect at least one question to come. At least one question I expect from the NBFC topic and Phillips curve to also come here. Numericals, as I said, finance and economics together could have 2 to 3 numericals come in. Here it will be about either calculating the equilibrium price or quantity based on demand and supply equations, and even national income based on the national income expenditure method is the most common one that is applied or asked in form of numericals. So that is again something that you can practice. Right, so these are the major important topics. The next question comes, how you should be spending the next 20 days to cover these. Answer is very, very simple. Revise and practice. That's the key mantra for your next 20 days. Don't try to do anything new, but you have to revise to an extent that it almost is automatic in your head. So for the next 10 days, go through your notes. As I stated in our course, we have given quick revision courses. We have also given MCQ booklets every subject wise, plus recent developments, plus numericals, right? So in the PDF format also. So for the next 10 days, that should be your focus. Avoid unnecessary details and wasting time on peripheral topics, except for what is coming from the news. Like I stated, certain tax related terms, but you don't have to start going through all the taxes now. But key terms, key points which are also related to stock markets, you should be reading about them. Financial awareness comes from that aspect only, which I said recent developments. We have separate 100 plus MCQs based on that, plus budget questions, plus economic survey questions is what you can do. Practice past year papers also, and give the mock test for the next 10 days. We have 5 mock tests for descriptive English, and we have 5 mock tests in the new pattern of 100 questions each for your paper 2. So, and just not giving test, but giving them and analyzing your performance. For descriptive English, we provide 101 feedback. Once you submit, we check that and provide you the answer and feedback on your paper within 2 to 3 days. We have also a suggested study plan for this time period, so you can also download that from the link of the description and practice on your own. As I stated, our first mock test with 100 questions is already live much before the information handout came out. With 100 questions, if you want, you can practice that. MCQ booklets are available to the students who are enrolling in the course, in addition to the revision modules and the mock test and everything else that's part of the course, like the videos, classes. We also did a 300 important question series. Pratik sir had done that before phase 1. That continues to be important for your phase 2 preparation. So if you had missed that, you can go through this on our YouTube channel. So that's all. Wishing you best. Use these 20 days wisely, practice well, revise well, and go with confidence. If you have any other queries, you can always write to us at hello@iexamb.com or call us at 9205524028. Thank you, everyone. Please don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for more information related to your preparations. Wishing you all the best. You can also access all these things on our app. So if you have not downloaded it, you can download from the Google Play Store. Thank you and wishing you all the best.